Not so long ago I showed you guys what areas of New York would be accessible in the final game, but because the map in the game is not a one-to-one scale to the real New York, we still couldn't really see how big the map would actually be in terms of square kilometers and stuff like that. Just because the real life Manhattan is 3.5 kilometers across, that doesn't mean that the in-game Manhattan is that size as well. The map in the game could easily be scaled up, or more likely, scaled down. But today it is time to end this debate once and for all, because I pretty much got all the information we need. So get some popcorn, get some candy, get some loop, and let's get into it. I started my research by taking some measurements and making sure that my character walked for exactly 200 meters into one direction. I basically set a waypoint next to these green boxes to the side of the base of operations, and I walked east until the waypoint was exactly 200 meters away from my character. Then I looked on the map, which gave me this big orange line, which is of course now a distance of 200 meters. And believe it or not, this single line is all we need. In After Effects, I pushed this line all the way to the west of the map and then kept duplicating it and then putting all the lines right next to another until I reached the other end of the map. The result is that I was able to fit in exactly 14 of these lines, meaning that the whole map would be 2.8 kilometers across or 1.7 miles in length. My character took about 35 seconds to cross the 200 meters, which means that to cross the entire map, it will probably take you around 490 seconds, or easier said, 8 minutes and 10 seconds. That is of course counting that you do not run into any obstacles, like blocked roads or dark zone doors, which essentially slow down the player by a lot. But now let's compare it to GTA 5. We of course first have to follow the exact same process and get our character to travel an exact distance of 200 meters. For this I used a car to go from this parking lot to the Lombank building and used the car's GPS to make sure that it was exactly 200 meters. Doing this allowed me to mark both the begin and of course the end location for both tests and then line the maps up, which gave me this result. It seems that the map for The Division is just a little bit smaller than the city area called as Los Santos in GTA 5. But when I was doing this, I felt that the comparison was a little bit off. I mean, don't get me wrong here, the scaling is accurate, but having played both games, I of course realized that GTA 5 doesn't come close in density to what there is to see and what there is to do in The Division. And I'm not trying to defend The Division here, but it is obvious that the map for GTA 5 was for a big part designed to be traveled across using vehicles. And obviously, since there are no vehicles in The Division, the map for The Division was not. And this showed, because while in The Division it took me about 35 seconds to travel the 200 meters, it only took me about 5 seconds in GTA 5 with my car. So I got a bit curious here. I was wondering, how long would it take me to travel from the top of Los Santos to the very north of the map with a car? Now, of course, I didn't get the fastest car, nor am I the best driver, but considering all of that, it still didn't even take me 3 minutes to get there, which means that I can actually travel from end to end faster in GTA 5 than in The Division. So yes, when you look at it, the map in The Division is smaller, but is it also worse? I realized that even though this research was giving me rock-hard results, I couldn't really get any good conclusions from it. I mean, the games are just too different despite both being an open world game. I needed another game to compare it to. An open world game, that is for sure, but one that has a much denser playable area. And one that doesn't have any drivable vehicles. A game like Fallout 4. So I loaded up Fallout 4 and I tried doing the same thing. Fallout 4 of course is a little bit different because not only does Fallout measure distances in yards instead of meters, but the game also doesn't tell you how far you are from the mission until you are 99 yards away. So I just made sure that I was exactly 100 yards away from the marker. After that I simply looked on the map and then noted that down. So now it's time for some calculations. 100 yards is exactly 91.44 meters. So if I would want a line that represented 200 meters, I had to increase the length of this line by 2.187 times, which gave me this result. Now, if we match this line with the line in The Division, you will see how big the map in The Division is compared to Fallout 4. And surprisingly, both maps are almost the exact same size. Now, I know that Fallout 4 doesn't have as much buildings as The Division because it takes place in a wasteland and stuff like that, but having played Fallout 4 myself, I actually know just how much there is to this game in terms of places to explore and stuff like that. So I wouldn't really say that one map here is denser, bigger, or better than the other. I would say that they are around the same. But that is the weird part though, because a lot of you watching this probably had the impression that the Fallout 4 map would be a lot bigger compared to The Division. In fact, if I remember right, the Fallout 4 map was praised to heaven for having a map size that was about twice the size of the Fallout 3 map. But The Division is now getting bashed on for pretty much having a small map. But both the Fallout 4 and the Division map have the same size. If you think that the map for The Division is small, you also think that the map for Fallout is small. And if you thought that the Fallout map was big, then you will also say the same about the map for The Division. And I kind of get that for a lot of people, this will be difficult to wrap their head around, and I'm totally expecting a few comments saying that I'm wrong without, any evidence to back it up. But I think a lot of this small map stigma that the game has is due to the hype that the long-term community had around the game. But like I said, I've already talked enough about that. If you want to know more about that, then you can click on the screen right now or the link in the description, and that will lead you to a video explaining in depth on what happened with the map. But I guess that is going to wrap it up for today's video. As always, I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys later. Or like they say, in the Netherlands. Zie je later!